So I have a secret I must confess to, but if you already read the title of this video, then you already know what that secret is. But if you just randomly clicked on this video with your eyes closed, then hi, how are you? However, I must confess that I am a Doom virgin, which sounds pretty heretical, I know, with the game series being out for over 20 years, with how much of an iconic game series it is and how much it managed to change the landscape of gaming and how it spawned so many imitators after it, some successful and others not so much. Now, I could have started with the 2016 Doom game and lost my DV card that way, but I decided that to truly appreciate this game, its history, and its massive impact on every gamer who has played it, that I will be playing the 1993 version of the Doom game so I can have as close of an experience as possible to those who played it when it released. I am going to be playing the Steam version of the game, and yes, I do know that there are better versions out there of this game, but at the time I was on Steam and I was like, you know what, I never played this game, so I'm going to give it a try. So like I said, I've never played this game and had no idea what to expect from a game that was from 1993. I was going in with the mindset of this game may be overhyped and that all the positive reviews were just from die-hard fans. So I picked Hurt Me Plenty as my difficulty setting for the playthrough, and oh boy, little did I know that this game was going to give me one rough bloody ride on down the line. First level, I played around with the movement to get used to the motions and the controls. Now this game did not allow you to freely aim where you aimed the mouse, so you could only look left or right. But if you watch the crosshairs, you see that it turns red for the targets that you shoot. So I thought, well, I can only shoot things that are on my level. Nothing above me, nothing below me. Well, no, if the crosshairs are red, you can hit it. And this game also has bullet spread, so the closer you are to your target, the better chance you have of hitting your target. I completed the level and destroyed its enemies and go to the exit and oh, I get a score chart? Well, yeah, I got 100%. But wait, I didn't get all the items, only 72%? Okay. But I didn't find any secrets? The levels have secrets? I didn't know this. Then I see that I am timed and there is a lower time to beat. And right then, I realized the first stage of drawing me into the Doom addiction had started. I wanted better scores, I wanted to know the secrets, and I wanted to beat the times. So I continue on with the levels, going through them with not much difficulty until I get to this level and experience my first death by the hands of this creature right here. I could barely see them, so at first I thought it was a glitch with it being the Steam version of the game and looked it up on how to fix it, only to find out that it is an enemy demon called the Spectre. Slightly harder to see in the light, but outright impossible to see in the dark, but the crosshairs still help, because they still turn red whenever they are over the target, so it wasn't much of an issue. Then I am revived and oh. And this is when I started to feel Doom's sweet caress across my brain, releasing both serotonin and dread at the same time. One way to describe it is, it's like a crazy ex-girlfriend who has a criminal record a mile long, but the excitement of not knowing if you're going to be walking out of her place alive or not is such a rush that you keep coming back to her and she uses it against you to get her needs fulfilled, because you give her what she wants. Wear a helmet with girlfriends like that, because you never know when they're going to start throwing fists and you'll never see them coming. Let me explain it in a more better detail. This is a game that punishes you with temptation. Yes, you die and start over again, but its idea of a second chance is having you start over with the pistol in your fist. Basically a second chance with little to work with. You see this and you're like, that's a bummer, but I can work with this because all I gotta do is get to the shotgun and the shotgun is easy to get. Well, what about ammo? Sometimes that's a little tricky to find in some areas, and if you rush around to avoid enemies to get to an area with ammo, chances are you have been followed by a good amount of these enemies who you now have to take out, and some of these enemies are bullet sponges. This is a rush that I love and enjoy even though I suck at most games. Even though I am enjoying this, I don't think Doom Guy is. Let's talk about the iconic HUD for a moment. Simple and very effective. You have health percentage, you have armor percentage, and you have your ammo count, and you also have a display for how many weapons you have. But my personal favorite is the face display of Doom Guy. He reacts to just about everything in the game. You take damage, he reacts. The lower his health is, the more beaten and bloody he becomes, which helps add to the emotion on concern and dread when you decide to round a corner. And when you decide to take on a group of enemies. You find a new weapon, he is as happy as a maniacal maniac in a knife store. You find a power-up, and he becomes a god of devastation and Satanism towards demons. These small feedbacks help add character to the game and Doom Guy. It shows that this is a place of danger and that you are not invincible. Well, at least not at all times. There is a lot of fun to have in this game, because the movement and combat never felt like horseshit to me. You have smooth movement that flows really well at the speeds that you travel, and no, I didn't know I could sprint by holding down the shift key until I made it to thigh flesh consumed levels. Piss off, Romero. You can take on the level slow and methodically, or you can rush in like a mad lad and take out everything out as fast as humanly possible, which I am trying to work on getting better at, but I miss my targets half the time. But what I am trying to get at here is when I died, it didn't feel like it was a buggy or glitchy game. It felt like it was my fault that I made a mistake and that I need to learn from that mistake. Let me give you an example. See these fellows right here with the guns? They are hit scanners, so what happens if I stand in front of them or cross their path? I get hit the moment they fire at me. I should be behind cover taking pop shots at them or be faster on the trigger than they are. Then you have the pinkies to worry about. A very big meaty enemy that runs after you and tries to throw off your aim by moving all over the place. It only does melee damage, so I need to stay away from it when possible, or pay attention to its attack frames if I have to resort to melee. Or how about enemies with projectiles? They have travel time with their projectiles, so I can easily strafe around them in open areas. And in closed areas, they are a pain to deal with because there's only one way for their projectile to go and there's only one way for you to go. Then you have tanky, hard-hitting enemies that you need to take out ASAP with a weapon that hits them hard and fast. If I died, I replayed the death in my head and I came back with more knowledge and experience to handle the problem. Sadly, real life isn't like that. Trust me, I know. My parents are examples of that. Now to talk about weapons. Your fist, which is an option when you have no ammo, is just not the best, but is satisfying to use when you get the Berserk power-up and the Invincibility power-up. Then you have the pistol, which is great for weak enemies like the zombie Space Marines, but not good against much of anything else. But it also has the same ammo as the chain gun uses, which fires faster and has the ability to stun enemies more often in a quicker time frame. You have a plasma rifle, fast, fun, and great for tanky enemies and clusters of enemies. Then you have the rocket launcher, which has splash damage, and yes, it will hurt you if you're close enough to the blast radius, but it is great for crowd control. Then the iconic chainsaw is up, and it is a very, very satisfying thing to use because it deals damage fast and it stun locks the enemies when sawing into them. It's not great for groups though, so one-on-one confrontations are the best situations for this one. Then you had the very useful, reliable, serotonin guaranteed with every shot and reload super shotgun. This is the one you will be using the most, and they were very smart when making this one. It is good for fast-paced action, hits hard at close range and mid-range, and has a horizontal spread that can take out multiple enemies at once if aimed correctly. Then you already know what's coming up next. It's the BFG 9000. This is a weapon that was created when someone said, hey, if crowd control had a symbol, what would it look like? And someone made this. The BFG has been in every Doom game since the first Doom, and it is easy to see why. Big, overpowered, reliable, and satisfaction guaranteed accumulated into one glorious hunk of metal and ingenuity. Now it's time to talk about the rough parts. Now, Doom is a game that has stood the test of time and is still played to this day thanks to its fans, the mods, and speedrunners alike. However, despite being a legendary game, it does have its flaws. The main flaw being its level designs in certain areas. When the game was being made, different people were put on making the levels and things did not transition so smoothly. Because you will have levels that are really easy and straightforward, then it will be a confusing mess and you get lost in, and some of these levels are designed to hurt you at every corner. Then you have levels that give out way too many health packs that take away from the fun because you are almost unkillable at that point. So it takes away the feeling of dread in the game. Then the big nail in the hand, the difficulty spike, especially on 2 levels in particular. They are short maps, sure, but they punish the bloody hell out of you, and yes, I did pistol start these levels when I died, and yes, I deeply regretted it. This is where the game bends you over and makes you its bitch in the roughest way possible. Just when I would think I made progress, the game reminded me that it had John Romero working on it, and yes, he liked getting off on people's suffering. Which, hey, I really can't blame him on that one because that is really fun. Still annoyed that I didn't know about sprinting till I got to these levels, but bloody hell am I glad I did. Cause it made things a little bit easier, but that little bit may not even exist with my skill level. From this point on, skill, ammo management, and clever thinking come into play. So you better be prepared. Remember this little tip, if you are low on ammo, you can trick the enemies into attacking each other, and it is a very nice thing to see from time to time. And I have to say, I highly recommend this this game to everyone. If you're into classic games, I very much recommend it. If you're into smooth, fast-paced shooters, and yeah, I definitely recommend this. Or if you're just looking to have a little fun, go for it. I am very happy and pleased that I lost my DV card, and I am gonna say that is the end of this video. If you still have your DV card, pick up Doom, and you'll be just as satisfied as I was. And that will be it for me. You have a good day.